Hey guys, King of Charmanders here, and today I bring to you the best switch axe guide. Tips and tricks. So this video covers the new weapon type introduced in Season 4, Roars from the Winterwind. And the switch axe has two modes, sword mode and axe mode, so it's a lot of fun. And the weapon seems complicated, but it's actually pretty simple to understand once you get used to it. Alright, let's jump right into it. We're going to begin with an overview of the modes, starting with axe mode. And axe mode has a longer reach. Like you see here, it's pretty long. Not super long, but it's long. And axe mode also gives you a longer dodge window by rolling. So in comparison to sword mode, you will roll. Dodge roll just like a lot of the other weapons. So it gives you a way larger window to dodge monster attacks. And attacking or dodging in axe mode will build your switch gauge. So you see right there below, we'll cover that more later in the video, but you see my switch gauge is going up as I dodge and roll around the battlefield. And this brings us to sword mode, and here's the overview. So sword mode has a shorter reach. If you notice, there is a slight difference or a distinct difference depending on how you look at it. And sword mode also has a shorter dodge window by strafing instead of rolling. This is a big one, just like the lance and some other weapon types, you're gonna strafe instead of roll. So this means you have a bigger window of getting hit by a monster. And attacking in sword mode will deplete your switch gauge. So as you see right here, as you attack, your switch gauge will deplete. But the caveat to that is that sword mode attacks are more powerful, so you're going to want to spend a lot of time in this mode in order to deal the most damage you can. And the thing is, you can continue attack even when hit by monster attacks, unless the attack knocks you back. So it's still going to do damage, however, in this sense, you'll still be able to continue your combos even if you are hit by the monster. In addition, attacks can do file damage at the end. So you see I'm smacking the crap out of this poor Mizutsune's dome, and you see some file damage being done at the end of it. Well, that's what sword mode can do. Some attacks, again, can do file damage at the end. Moving on, we have how the switch gauge works. So attacking or dodging in axe mode will fill the switch gauge, like you see right here. Perfect dodging will also fill the switch gauge. And if you attack in sword mode, that will deplete the switch gauge. So axe mode fill, sword mode deplete. Get it? And the thing is, once your switch gauge is depleted, you will morph from sword mode back to axe mode. So you see right here, my switch gauge is depleted, and I morph back into axe mode. Up next, we have the basic attacks, starting with the axe mode. So you're going to tap to attack, and you can do a basic 3-hit combo if you're close to the monster. You'll do a side slash right here, followed by a rising slash, and then finally, you will end with an overhead slash. And you can also do a basic 2-hit combo if you're a little bit away from the monster. So it's like mid-range, like kind of like a little far away, somewhat like right here. And you will do a forward slash and to an overhead slash. So right here, you do a forward slash. Again, you have to be in mid-range. You'll do an overhead slash. And then the thing is, the 2-hit combo can be changed into the 3-hit combo. Right here, right here. And again, as you see in the other example, the 2-hit combo will go into forward, over, and then you can go left, right, up. In addition, you also have the axe mode's wild swing attack. So literally to do this, all you do is tap and hold. Just tap and hold, bam, wild swing. And this will perform the wild swing combo. This can be done infinitely as long as you hold and you're not going to get hit by a monster. Now the thing is, you will not move during this attack, but you can swipe in any direction during the wild swing to dodge and cancel it out. So right here, see right here, you could swipe in any direction and boom, it will cancel out so you could dodge monster attacks. And you can do various combos off of the wild swing, and we're going to go over them up next. And here are the combos we are talking about. So the axe mode wild swing combos. Number 1, you tap, hold, and release. And tapping and releasing will execute an overhead slash at the end of your wild swing. As you see right here, release, bam, overhead slash. Number 2, you have tap, hold, and swipe up, which will allow you to execute the morph sweep. This is your most powerful attack in axe mode. When you morph sweep, it's a 4-hit combo that changes into an overhead slash in sword mode. But you have to be careful, as this attack can leave you open due to the long animation. As you see right here, there's a long period of you being open before you even finish. However, getting hit during the sword morph may allow you to get hit and continue if the attack doesn't knock you back. Here's an example with Paolumu, as you see right here. If you end up doing the overhead slash transformation, you might still be able to take damage like you see right here, unless again it knocks you back, and then you'll be able to complete your transformation. So just keep that in mind. But before we go into sword mode stuff, here's how to go from axe mode to sword mode and back, because there's a lot of ways to do it. We're starting off from axe mode to sword mode. Tap the special skill icon. So seriously, just tap it and then you will go into sword mode. You can also tap, hold, and swipe up, and at the end of the 4-hit Wild Swing Morph Sweep combo, you will go into Sword Mode. And here's from Sword Mode back to Axe Mode. Tap the special skill icon while it's not full, because if it's full, guess what? You're going to use your special skill. And the next one up, we have tap, hold, and swipe up. You will do a Morph Slash attack, and this will return you back into Axe Mode. So right here, tap, hold, swipe up, and then boom. Tap, hold, Elemental Discharge, swipe up, and you will morph back into Axe Mode. Or do the Morph Slash attack. You also have after your Elemental Discharge thrust. So after that variation you see right here, you're going to go back into Axe Mode. And you have after your special skill. But we're going to go over the zero-sum discharge anyway, so I'm going to show an example later for number 4. Now that we covered all of that, here's Sword Mode, and here's all the basic attacks. So you tap to attack. And this will result in this really long 8-hit combo. So you will have the overhead slash, followed by a right rising slash, and then you will have a left rising slash right after this, as you see right here. After the left, you will do a side slash. And then after you do a side slash, you will do a double slash. And then you will end with the Heavenward Flurry, which is a 2-hit combo. You'll jump in the air, you'll twirl, and you'll do a massive amount of damage. Now the thing is, you can dodge between any of the attacks, but you'll have to restart the entire combo, except for the last portion. So when you do double slash and the Heavenward's Flurry, there's no point of return. So performing the full combo takes a while, and you are very open during this window. If you're too greedy, you're gonna get smacked like you see here, and potentially take a ton of damage and use a potion. So be careful. But we're not done yet. We have the Sword Mode's charge attacks. So the Sword Mode can perform a charge attack known as the Element Discharge Thrust. So you tap, hold, release, and you keep tapping. That's how you do this attack. And there are 2 types of charge attacks. You have short and you have long. So for the short one, it's 1 blink, which is a 4-hit combo. And then you have the long one, which is 2 blinks, and it's a 6-hit combo. So each attack is also followed by a multi-hit blast attack that ignores armor and does 130% damage. As you see right here, there's that blast attack that happens at the end, and it does 130% damage. Here's a note though, if you do the long version, you will morph into Axe Mode, so it's best to use it when your switch gauge is almost up. So don't use this to pop off right at the beginning, use it within a combo or again when it's near the end, so you maximize the damage and potential with this attack. Alright, now that we went over both of the combos, we have the perfect dodge. Now here's the thing, perfect dodging will partially fill your switch gauge. So as you see below right there, as I perfect dodge beautifully and majestically, my gauge will increase. Now the thing is, in Axe Mode, tapping after a perfect dodge will do an overhead slash. So as you see right here, after I do a perfect dodge, I do an overhead slash. Now it's different in Sword Mode, and you want to do it a lot in Sword Mode if you can, because you'll go straight into Sword Double Slash to Heavenward Flurry. Heavenward Flurry, yeah. So as you see right here, after your perfect dodge, what's going to happen is you will have the opportunity to do the double slash into the Heavenward Flurry, as you see right here. And you can finish with the Elemental Discharge Thrust right afterwards. So you can do a big combo and do a ton of damage to the said monster. However, be aware, your switch gauge might be up. So just keep that in mind if you plan on trying to commit to that combo. And now, last but not least, you have the special skill, the Zero-Sum Discharge. And it starts off with several steps. Number 1, you have Initial Stab Attack. And then you follow up with an 11-hit aerial attack attached to the monster. It looks really cool right here. Bam, I'm attached to your face, and I'm gonna smack the unholy crap out of you by discharging a bunch of energy. And it ends with a multi-hit blast attack that ignores armor and does 130% damage. Now, after your special skill, you will return to Axe Mode, so it's best used when your switch gauge is actually almost up, or if you plan on getting 2 of them off, do it at the beginning, and then after that, build up your gauge and then smack them with it again. Or her, if we're in the case of this Rothian. Now the thing is, again, after your special skill, you return to Axe Mode, so again, just keep that in mind. But if you notice right here, your switch gauge, depending on when you executed it, it actually won't drain your switch gauge. So yes, it will not drain your switch gauge. However, here's a note. The first attack must land or your special skill will miss. Not only that, the range is relatively short. So unless you're really up close and personal, or at least pretty close to it, as you see on this example right here, you're not going to really get a chance. So make sure you're close, make sure it lands. Otherwise, you're going to waste your special skill and then you're going to have to build up all over again before you attempt to use it. Speaking of building up, well, switch axes actually have phials, just like the charge blade. Here's a list of phials they have. You have the power element phial, power element ailment phial, power phial, poison phial, paralysis phial, and the exhaust phial. And each switch axe will have phials, so a specific one. And these phials effects will all activate in sword mode, just like you see all the descriptions right here. When you're in sword mode, this will take effect. And take these effects into account when choosing which switch axe you want to build. Of course, don't just consider what the phials they have, but also their stats, etc. If you've been playing Monster Hunter now for a while, you know that. If you're brand new, well, make sure you take a look at what you're going to get and invest in long term before you start building or making anything, to save you a lot of heartache in the long run when you're like, wow, I shouldn't have built this thing, I should have built something else. Up next, we have the pros and cons of the switch axe. So, the switch axe is a great weapon. Well, it depends. Do you know how to use it? And here's the pros. The switch gauge is actually easy to manage. So the little gauge in below, it's actually easier to manage than some other weapon types. It's relatively easy to use once you get used to it. The sword and axe mode provide flexibility. So being able to switch between both is pretty cool, and they give you flexible abilities, well, once you get used to it. And the thing about the switch axe, it's actually less complicated than a lot of other weapons. Let's give an example like charge blade, where you have to master guard pointing in order to be extremely effective with the charge blade. And in addition, the switch axe excels in group hunts. And it excels because of its cons. Because its attacks can leave big windows where you get hit. Especially the sword mode full combo. So if you try to go to Heaven's Ward, I think slash or whatever, the full sword mode combo, you're gonna be really open to attack. So make sure your pullout game is strong. As in, make sure you pull out of a combo before you think you're gonna get hit. In addition, the special skill has such a short range that you need to be super close for it to work. Unlike things like, for example, the dual blades initiate, you don't really have a lot of range with it. So you have to be up close and personal in order for you to successfully land your special skill. And the thing about the switch axe, well, it's not really beginner friendly. It can be confusing for newer players. It's definitely not as simple as, say, the sword and shield or something like the greatsword. It definitely having two modes and having a variety of attacks makes it a pretty complex weapon. But if you've been playing for a little bit, you can get used to it. Not too long, but if you're a brand new player, you might want to think about using something else long term. And this brings us to the tips and tricks for the switch axe. If you decide to invest in and use it, well, use wild swing to rapidly increase your switch gauge at the start of battles. No, seriously, tap and hold, smack, 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 and then build it up to full. Then you have the ability to also go into sword mode, but also go back to axe mode if you need to. That's because in axe mode, you can dodge monster attacks with a wide hitbox, because instead of strafing like you do in sword mode, in axe mode you can roll. So switching between them is very strategic, and again, in order for you to dodge attacks. However, if you master perfect dodging in sword mode, this will allow you to consistently pull off your most powerful combo, which is the double slash and the heaven wards. I still don't remember that attack, but yeah, it's the final attack of the switch axe when you're in sword mode. So if you perfect dodge, you can go straight into that combo, and you want to P-dodge into that as much as you can. But just because you like being in sword mode, don't get greedy in sword mode. Be careful, because in sword mode, again, you can only strafe. So unless you're good at perfect dodging, you're very vulnerable to attacks. Not gonna lie, that's exactly how I felt when I saw the zero-sum discharge. Well, I played the switch axe in the main series game, so when it came out, I was like, oh, this scene is perfect, you know? You smack your switch axe straight into the dome, and then blast it with the Phials, just like Omegamon does over here for Armageddonmon. You don't need to see the part after this, though. If you watch the movie, you know what happens. Hopefully, you don't end up like that and use a bunch of potions. But that's why I made this guide, so that hopefully this video helps you with the switch axe. Now, it's a powerful weapon that's essentially an upgrade from the greatsword without the ability to use shoulder tackle. So greatsword users rejoice, this is the weapon you've all been waiting for. Or if you love the switch axe in general, or it's your main squeeze for the main series games, well, it's finally here, so you could use it and build it finally. And hopefully you master it and it does well for you. With that being said, please do me a huge favor, like, subscribe, and comment for YouTube algorithm. Hopefully you're getting all the drops you need. Hopefully this helps you out with the switch axe, and hopefully y'all are enjoying Season 4. Good luck on your grinds, and I will see y'all on the next video.